Hey there again. Well, in this video, we're going to be adding and subtracting mixed numbers. You'll see it's really easy once you get the practice. First of all, we'll see. Adding mixed numbers, what do you need to do first? Well, you have to make sure they have the same denominators. Okay, remember that a mixed number is a whole with a fraction. And if you're going to be adding those, you need to make sure that both denominators and both fractions that you're adding, they are the same, because you cannot work with different denominators. Then if they have different denominators, then you're going to have to find equivalent fractions. And then you're going to add the whole number first. You add the fractions, and then you simplify if you need to. Let's see an example. I have 5, 6 plus 3, 5 12. Now, I have different denominators here. What can I do? We're going to check if the smaller denominator is possible to multiply or amplify by any number to turn it or convert it into the greater denominator. In this case, yes, I can do that. I can amplify number 6 to get a 12. How? I have to multiply by 2. Since I'm multiplying the denominator, I have to multiply the numerator as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do 5 times 2, 6 times 2 equals 10 12 in this case. Okay, now I have my equivalent fraction, and both of my fractions have the same denominator, and I can work. So my first mixed number kind of changed, but it is an equivalent fraction, so it's pretty much the same, just with different numbers. And I can go ahead and add my whole numbers first. 5 plus 3 equals 8. And then 10 plus 5 equals 15. And my denominator stays the same. Okay, and you'll say, okay, yeah, we finished. No, we don't. Why? Because this is an improper fraction. And we need to simplify improper fraction. We cannot leave them like that. How do we simplify improper fractions? We're going to turn them into a mixed number. If you watch the other video, then you will remember that you can turn this into a mixed number by dividing. You're going to divide the numerator by the denominator. In this case, 15 divided by 12 equals 1, and then my quotient is going to become my new whole, and the rest is going to become my new numerator. Okay, so this fraction, 15 out of 12, is now 1 3/12. So I have 8, my whole number that I had here, plus this new mixed number. What do I do? Well, I'm going to add the wholes, 8 plus 1, and my proper fraction here is going to stay the same. So 8 plus 1 equals 9, and my fraction is going to stay the same. See? Really easy, right? Now, what do we do when we have to subtract mixed numbers? Well, pretty much the same. As in, we have to make sure we have like fractions. As we said, we cannot work if our denominators are not the same. So we need them to be the same, and that's a lucky fraction. Then we're going to subtract the wholes first, then subtract the fractions, and simplify if needed. I have my examples here. I have 3 4/5 minus 2 1/2. My denominators are not the same. Is there any mathematical way to amplify this number 2 to convert it into a number 5? No, there's no way. I cannot multiply this number 2 by any number and turn it into 5. So I'm going to use my other strategy, that is multiply one fraction by the denominator of the other. So my first fraction, 4/5, it's going to be amplified by 2, because 2 is my other denominator. 4/5 times 2 equals 8/10. And then 1/2 is going to be amplified by 5. 1/2 by 5 equals 5/10. And now I have my equivalent fractions with the same denominator, and I can work. So set, I have this that turn into this, and I can subtract. What did I say? We have to subtract the wholes first. 3 minus 2 equals 1, and then I just subtract the numerators. 3 minus 2 equals 1, and then 8 minus 5 equals 3, and my denominators stay the same. Do I have to simplify anything here? No, because I have a whole and a proper fraction, and that's it. I don't have to simplify anything. I'm finished with this one. Let's see another example with subtraction. Now I have 12 7/12 minus 5 8/9. I can find my multiples. In this case, you can multiply as we did in the previous example. And you're going to multiply this fraction by the next denominator and vice versa. Or you can find the multiples. The multiples is just the list of numbers in a table. You're going to try to find the common multiple or the multiple that's the same in both tables. So I find and times table of 12, we have 12, 24, 36, 48. And then on 9, we have 9, 18, 27, 36. And I can see that 36 repeats. I have 36 in both tables. So I can tell that my common multiple is 36. And I just have to find how to convert these denominators into 36. It's pretty easy. I just have to count 1, 2, 3. So I have to multiply 12 by 3. 12 times 3 to make it into 36. So remember, if you amplify, you have to multiply both terms. So 7/12 times 3 is 21 out of 36. And this 9, I have to multiply it by something to turn it into 36. What would that be? Yep, by 4. 8 9s by 4 equals 32 out of 36. And now I have my equivalent fractions, easy peasy. And I can go ahead and subtract. And I have 12, and this turn into this now. And as I said, we just have to subtract the wholes, and then we subtract the fractions, right? But we have a problem here. What's the problem? That 21, my first fraction here, 21 is greater than 32. And I cannot subtract that because this one is greater than this one. Okay, so what do? I can take this fraction and decompose it. So whenever you have a whole, remember you can take that whole and divide it or fraction it into anything you want. You can play with that numbers. So what you're gonna do is, this whole you can take 11, just leave them there. And the other one, you have 12, you have 11 plus 1 is 12, right? I'm gonna get that 1 and turn it into a fraction. Remember that whenever you have a fraction that the numerator and the denominator are the same, that's a whole or equals 1. Okay, in this case, I have 11, 36 out of 36, and that's a whole there. But I want it into a fraction because it's easier. Okay? Now this 12 turn into this, but I still have this fraction here, so I have to add this 2. So this 12, 21 out of 36 is now 11, 57 out of 36. And I can subtract that. I have now 11, 57 out of 36 minus 5, 32 out of 36. And I can subtract 57 minus 32. Okay? So I go and I subtract the wholes first. 11 minus 5 equals 6. And then 57 minus 32 equals 25. And my denominator stays the same. I know this looks like a lot of steps, but if you practice it, you're gonna see that it's really easy. You just have to know how to decompose your fractions and just play with the numbers. Now we're gonna subtract a mixed number from a whole. Okay, so I have a whole. And we're gonna do pretty much the same as we've been doing. We're gonna subtract the wholes first, and then we're gonna decompose the whole to subtract the fraction as we just did. Or you can do another thing. I'm just gonna explain that in a little bit. So I have 4, it's a whole number, 4 minus 1/5. I'm gonna subtract the wholes. 4 minus 1 equals 3, but I still have to subtract the fraction, okay? If I decompose this number 3, I'm gonna have 2 and 1, but this 1 is represented into a fraction, as we just did. Remember that whenever you have the same number in the numerator as the denominator, that equals 1. So this is the same as saying 2 plus 1. And 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay? So now I have this, and I can go ahead and subtract the fractions. My whole is going to stay the same because I don't have any other whole to subtract it with. So it's going to stay the same. And I subtract the fractions. 8 minus 5 equals 3, and the denominator stays the same. And that's it, I finished. There's another way to do it. You have 3 minus 5/8. And I can convert this 3 into an improper fraction. How do we do that? Now you see we have a 24 here. You're gonna multiply the whole by the next denominator, okay? 3 times 8 equals 24, and the denominator stays the same, okay? And now you have an improper fraction, then you can just go ahead and subtract because they both have the same denominator. 24 minus 5 equals 19 out of 8. But if I do this, I have another step to do because this is an improper fraction. And as I said, improper fraction need to be simplified. I'm gonna just leave it like that. Have to simplify, and remember how we simplify improper fractions? Yes, we divide. We're gonna divide 19 divided 8. And the quotient is my new whole. The rest is my new numerator, and the denominator stays the same. Okay, guys? I know this is a lot to take in. Just watch this video and the other videos so you can practice a lot and you'll be really good at this. That's all for today. See you next time.